Samantha, and I am here to do my Tarot TBR for the month of August. It is going to be a busy month with a bunch of readathons. We have the magical readathon happening all month long, the final book support group week long at the beginning of the month, and then I am hosting the Llamas round of Witchathon, which is just going to be for 48 hours on the 1st and the 2nd of the month. Which will probably have passed by the time this maybe goes up, who knows. But yeah, it's gonna be such a busy month reading wise for me, so let's jump into the card pulls. Alright, let's see what this month brings. This one is flipped the wrong way around, so let's go with this one. Queen of Wands. I believe that is Temperance. This deck is a little bit hard to read because with it being in French, and I don't speak French. And like Knight of Swords and the Justice reversed, and then extra 4 cards that fell. Cups, 6 of Cups reversed, 3 of Cups reversed, 8 of Pentacles, and Page of Wands. I double checked. This is the Empress card. Okay, so we have 1 sword card, so we will be using the spellcasting deck. Life's Purpose. And we have 2 Cups card, so the Animal Spirits deck will get 2 draws, 2 shuffles. First shuffle came out with the Crow, Elk, and a Lizard. Going to be a busy month for me. Okay, 1 more shuffle. Elephant, Scorpion, boy, Raccoon, and Moth. I am going to go insane and let's see. The last is 1 coin card, so we get a Moonology card. Hopefully just 1 card. We will see. Prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. So let's see. 19 books to fit for this month. What we got is the Queen of Wands. With this card, it represents courage, determination, and joy. So I will need to read a reading challenge prompt. I am doing a couple of reading challenges for like the year, like the Buzzwordathon, a Yearathon, and the Pop Sugar reading challenges. And then there's a couple of one that I'm using on the app Habitica that has specific books to try to challenge myself to read. But I'm going with the Pop Sugar challenge. One of the prompts that I haven't read yet is a book with girl in the title. And for this one, I am going to read Black Girl, White Girl by Patricia Moyes. It says it's in an Inspector Henry Tibbet mystery. This is a book I had gotten years ago. I've had this on my shelves for God knows how long. I got it in a library book sale when it was like $1 a bag. You just stuff a bag full of books and you just only paid $1 for it. So this is quite an old book. Let me see what the copyright is. 1989, so it is pretty old. Let me read the inside flap. When a little Caribbean island of Tempadica was granted its independence, there was a general rejoicing among its peoples. Of course, everyone knew there were some rough spots in the island's economy, but Caribbean islands didn't have these. But by and large, optimism prevailed. The tourist industry was about to take off with big resort hotels, a new jet airport, and a high-speed inter-island ferry in the works. And surely this will solve Tempadica's fiscal worries. But the tourist boom just wasn't big enough to overcome the defects. So when a new group of politicos come on the scene with the promises of economic recovery, the people voted them into power. And shortly afterward, money started flowing into the island, the worst kind of money, drug money. With local officials bribed into complicity, the island became a haven for the traffic in cocaine, white girl in the local argot. Emmy and Henry Tibbet knew nothing of this. Their memories of Tempadica were of a quiet little backwater with a erratic air service and a few charming guest houses. So when an old friend from the island suddenly turns up in London saying that she's afraid for her life, the Tibbets are shocked. Listening to her tale of tapped phones, unaccountable accidents, and tampered mail, they agree to help her get the goods on the mafia, corrupted local officials. Flying to Tempadica under the cover of a winter holiday, they soon find that amid the deceptive calm of the lush tropic resort, they can trust no one, because nothing is what it appears to be, and the only reality is that each of them is in the gravest danger. So yeah, this you know this is an old book when it has the like stamped checkout log in the back of it, but we'll see if it holds up any good. So far, it kind of just sounds like a standard mystery for the 80s. So we will see how good it is and whether or not it gets put on the D-stash pile or on unhaul pile. The next is the Empress card. This means divine femininity, sensuality, and fertility, nurturing, creativity, beauty, abundance, and nature. So I need to read a romance book. And for the reading by candlelight pick for August is we're going to be reading Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. I really don't know much about this book other than it being a STEM romance, and that's been blasted across the book, booktube universe and or just book community in general. I don't have a synopsis or anything pulled up for the books I don't have copies for. I don't have synopsis for because I'm recording on my phone, so I don't have those to be able to pull up. But I am interested in reading that. Card 3 is Two of Wands. Planning, making plans, and discovery. So a book from someone else's TBR. When I was searching for this, I went with Meg's books because her TBR video was the first one in my subscription feed. And I went with the first book that I haven't read that she has planned on reading, and it is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This is another pretty hyped, popular book that I've been meaning to read for the longest time. So I am pretty excited to read that. Next is Page of Swords. Curiosity, restlessness, and mental energy. So with that mental energy, I am going to focus on reading a witchcraft book, and this one is going to be a reread for me. This is a replacement book for my So Moan It Be book club because the book for August somehow is really super hard to get a hold of, and when I had made the pickings for the book club, I made sure to check and see if they were available everywhere, but since I had done the picking, if for some reason it's been taken off places. So we are going to be reading Practical Magic, A Beginner's Guide to Crystals, Horoscopes, Psychics, and Spells by Nikki Vandekar. I really love this book as a resource for witchcraft. I have tabbed it up many times. I'll just read what it says on the back. An enchanted introduction for casual clairvoyants and weekend witches. This spellbinding guide is a perfect initiation into the world of modern magic, from crystals and astrology to chakras, dream interpretation, and of course a few spells. Filled with herbal remedies and sacred rituals, the stylish premiere provides the foundation to bring the best of magic into your everyday. Chapters on healing, magic, and fortune-telling contain all the essentials for a mystical life, including enchanting plants for palm readings, tarot spreads, smudge sticks, and more. And the illustrations in the book as well is really beautiful in the way that the chapters are kind of like set up. It makes it really easy to read and to like go back to. So it's definitely a book I recommend for beginners if you are looking for one. Next is Justice Reversed. Dishonesty, unaccountability, and unfairness. So a dystopian, and I'm going to go with The Memory Police by Yoko Owagawa. I've heard some interesting things about this. It's from what I remember descriptions of, it is about a world where certain things get erased from people's memories, and then there are like memory police that go around making sure that certain like keywords or something is erased from people's lives. If I'm thinking of the right book, but it seems pretty interesting, so I am happy to read that. Next is Six of Cups Reversed. Resisting change, clinging to the past, and unrealistic expectations. So a historical fiction. I'm going to read The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. I believe I read one of her books in the past. I'm blanking on one that I had read. And I heard about this one a couple of years ago when it first came out, and I heard that it was pretty good. So I am interested in reading that. Next is Three of Cups Reversed. Herd mentality, conformity, solitude. So a hyped book. One that I've been hearing hyped for a while is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I've had this on my TBR for a while, and I happened to get this copy from Books A Million on like their bargain table. And of course, anything witchy, I am more than happy to pick up. This is a young woman living in a rigid puritanical society discovers dark powers within herself in the stunning feminist fantasy debut. In the lands of Bethel, where the prophet's word is law, Emmanuel Moore's very existence is blasphemy. Her mother's union with an outsider of a different race cast her once proud family into disgrace, so Emmanuel does her best to worship the Father, follow holy protocol, and lead a life of submission, devotion, and absolute conformity, like all the other women in the settlement. But a mishap lures her into the forbidden dark woods surrounding Bethel, where the first prophet is once chased and killed 4 powerful witches. Their spirits are still lurking there, and they bestow a gift on Emmanuel, the journal of her dead mother, who Emmanuel is shocked to learn once sought sanctuary in the wood. Fascinated by the secrets in the diary, Emmanuel finds herself struggling to understand how her mother could have consorted with the witches, but when she begins to learn grim truths about the church and its histories, she realizes the true threat to Bethel is its own darkness, and she starts to understand that if Bethel is to change, it must begin with her. So I am pretty interested. This is another like historical fantasy about witches and like the kind of like the witch trial era. So I am pumped to finally get to that. Next is 8 of Coins. Education, apprenticeship, and achievement. So another witchcraft book. I have dug through my NetGalley arcs and am going with Practically Pagan by Maria de Blase. I've had been sent this for review a couple of years back that I really need to get into, and I'm trying to make a more conscious effort of putting more books that I actually own and have been sent arcs of onto my TBR in hopes of actually getting to them. Next is, of the last of the normal tarot, is Knight of Wands reverse. Anger, impulsiveness, and recklessness. So an enemies to lovers type of books. And I'm going to go with So We Meet Again by Susanna Park. I don't know anything really about this this book. I believe it's another one of those NetGalley books that I need to have to review. So I'm interested in getting to that. And we had one spellcasting card, which is Life's Purpose. So with the guidebook says that it's one of the meanings, additional meanings behind it is to seek adventure. And with that, I am going to be reading The Witch King by Martha Wells. I got this for review, for review from Tor, so thank you, Tor, for sending this my way. This is from the synopsis. It is from Martha Wells. It's just her first fantasy book in like over a decade. Yeah, first new fantasy in more than a decade, drawing together her signature ability to create characters we adore and identify with, breathtaking action and adventure, and the wit and charm we come to expect from one of the leading writers of her generation. And the synopsis goes, Kai-Anna is the Witch King, though he hasn't always been, and he hasn't always been Kai-Anna. After being murdered, his consciousness dormant and unaware for the passing of time while confined in an elaborate water trap, Kai wakes to find a lesser mage attempting to harness Kai's magic to his own advantage. That was never going to go well. But why was Kai imprisoned in the first place? What has changed in the world since its assassination? And why does the Rising World Coalition appear to be growing in influence? Kai will need to pull his allies close and draw on all of his pain magic if he is to answer even the least of these questions. He's not going to like the answers. So I am really interested in this. The cover is really pretty. It's definitely understated and more like, almost like a watercolor type-esque in my head. So I am excited to get to that. Then we had quite a few animal spirits card. The first being elephant. Elephant is known to be like a wise animal. So with that, we're going to go with the nonfiction, and dipping back into my NetGalley stash is Make Your Own Beauty Products by Charmaine Yabsley. I've been trying to like find more ways of incorporating more handmade things into my life, since I have so much I can work with here and with my like crafts and stuff. I would like to incorporate more of that. Next is moth. Moth is usually a symbolism in many cultures. They're seen as sacred, that and it helps you through difficult times in your life. So with a difficult kind of growing up type of book, I'm going to read A Clap As You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it's supposed to be really hard hitting. Next is raccoon, which usually you see them as a playful type of animal. With this, I'm going to go with a romance, YA romance, contemporary romance of Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. We have scorpion, which it usually is a symbolism of protection. So with that, I'm going to read Did I Say You Could Go by Melanie Gideon. And then we have elk. They are usually representative as being like prideful, have perseverance, and has a lot of power in the wilderness. So I am going to read Red Rabbit by Alex Grecian. This is a like horror western witchcraft hybrid that I am really excited to get to. The synopsis, this is also an arc from Toward Nightfire. The synopsis says, every hired gun in Kansas is out to collect the bounty on Sadie Grace's head, including bona fide witch hunter Old Tom and his mysterious mute ward Rabbit. On the road to Bergen County, they're joined by two vagabond cowboys with a strong sense of adventure, but no sense of purpose, and a recently widowed school teacher with nothing left to lose. And as their posse grows, so too does the danger. Racing along the drought-stricken plains in a stolen red stagecoach, they encounter monsters more wicked than witches lurking along the dusty trail. But the crew is determined to get that bounty or die trying. Red Rabbit is a folk horror epic about a ragtag posse that must track down a witch through a wild west beset by demons and ghosts, where death is always just around the bend. Next we have the crow, which usually is a symbol for death or the underworld. Crows are known to kind of lead people as they're like passing from one world to another. If you've seen the movie The Crow, that is really like the main symbolism in that movie, is being the kind of like bringer, some kind of the bringer of the death, or guiding one from one life to another and helping them resolve the issues that they haven't completely taken care of. And with that, since this book is a lot about trying to kill somebody or bring them death, I want to get to God Killer by Hannah Canner. This is, according to the book inside flap, it says Kissian's family were killed by zealots of fire god. Now she makes a living killing gods and enjoys it. That is until she finds a god she cannot kill. Sideki, a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from unknown assassins. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, they must travel to the ruined city of Beleraden, where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favor. Pursued by demons and in the midst of a burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of the kingdom, and only they can be the ones to stop it. I had won this copy in a giveaway that Tiara with Aubrey Books and Coffee was running on her channel. She does frequent giveaways of books that she doesn't plan on holding on to, and that she wants to let people have a chance of receiving this one. This is the Illumicrate edition. It's like one of my prettiest books that I own, with this beautiful sprayed edges, and she also includes the author card with it. So I am pleased to be able to get to this for this month. And the last of the animal spirits card got lizard. Lizards are known on their survival instincts. So some of them can really like blend in with the world around them. So we're gonna go with the Mercies by Kieran Millward Hardgrave. This, according to the synopsis, is set in Finnmark, Norway, 1617. 20-year-old Marion Magnusdottir stands on the craggy coast, watching the sea break into a sudden and reckless storm. 40 fishermen, including her brother and father, are drowned and left broken on the rocks below. With the menfolk wiped out, the women of the tiny Arctic island of Vardo must fend for themselves. 3 years later, a sinister figure arrives from Scotland, Minister Absalom Cornet, who rose to prominence by burning witches. He brings with him his young Norwegian wife, Ursa, who is both heady with her husband's authority and terrified by it. In Vardo and in Miran, Ursa notices something she never witnessed before: independent women. But Absalom sees only a place untouched by God and flooded with a mighty evil. As Myron and Ursa are drawn to each other in ways that surprise them both, the island begins to close in on them, with Absalom's iron rule threatening Vardo's very existence. Inspired by the real events of the Vardo storm and the 1621 witch trials, The Mercies is a powerful story of love, evil, and obsession set at the edge of civilization. If I could actually stick on a pronunciation for the main character's name, that would probably be great. But this book is blurbed by quite a few authors on the back, Madeline Miller and Samantha Shannon being a couple of them. So I am interested in this. And then we had a couple of Moonology cards. The first being New Moon in Taurus, Prosperity Lies Ahead. So with that, another arc that I would like to get to is Thornhenge by T. Kingfisher. This is a fantasy fairy tale retelling. There is a princess trapped in a tower. This isn't her story. Meet Toadling. On the day of her birth, she was stolen from her family by the fairies, but she grew up safe and loved in the warm waters of fairyland. Once an adult, though, the Fae ask a favor of Toadling: return to the human world and offer a blessing of protection to a newborn child. Simple, right? If only. Centuries later, a knight approaches a tower wall of brambles where the thorns are as thick as your arm and as sharp as swords. He's heard there's a curse here that needs breaking, but it's a curse Toadling will do everything to uphold. So it's like a Rapunzel retelling from a different point of view. So I am, and it's a pretty short one, so I can expect that I would be able to finish pretty quickly once I pick it up. And then we got Supermoon, Emotions Are Running High. So I'm gonna try Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I haven't read any of her books, and I heard that this is supposed to put you on a wild ride. So I'm expecting said wild ride. So, but yeah, those are the 19 books that I have to read I will try to read for the month of August, because we all know that I'd never really read all of these books. But let me know in the comments below if you read any of these books and what your thoughts are. Which ones do you think I should start with first? And like this video if you liked this kind of content, and subscribe to keep up to date with any new TBR videos I come out with in the future. Until then, you guys, bye.